Do you consistently feel sluggish while finding it impossible to lose weight after 40? It seems like as soon as I hit 40, my scale shot up with no signs of slowing down. But once I quit fad diets and dropped 50 pounds with an easy lifestyle I love, I finally understand there's no magic metabolism switch that flips once you hit 40. Even though you've been led to believe that weight gain is just part of getting older, there are 5 easy things you can do to boost your metabolism. Making these simple changes make weight loss so much easier. But if you keep ignoring these basic lifestyle adjustments in search of another quick fix, then your weight will continue to spiral out of control. The sad truth is, at least 80% of women completely ignore the first simple metabolism boost. Not only does this hack speed your metabolism up even while you're resting, but it comes with tons of other benefits like improved mental health, better blood sugar control, increased bone density, and a reduced risk of chronic diseases, among many other benefits. While every quick fix diet out there makes similar promises, with this health hack, you don't have to change everything about your life to live in a body you love. But as Layne Norton points out, the magic you're looking for in all of these quick fixes is actually in the work that you're trying to avoid. Coming from a powerlifting world champion, of course I'm talking about strength training. But you don't have to become a bodybuilding world champ to reap the benefits of lifting weights. Look, even us girls over 40 can get some pretty impressive results while only hitting the gym 2 to 3 days per week. The good news is 2 to 3 days a week is all you need to build a metabolism boosting muscle that gives you the shape that most women want. And hitting the gym more often than that can even backfire, but we'll get back to that in a minute. Maybe you're like the old me who didn't find value in strength training, so I never stuck with it. If you're struggling to establish a solid routine, here's a few tips before we move on to the next metabolism booster. First, try scheduling your training session within the first 8 hours of waking up. Since you have more energy in the early part of the day, that's when you're more likely to complete harder tasks. You'll also need to lift with proper form and in a progressive overload plan if you want results. As long as you're getting stronger with more reps or heavier weights, or you're lifting with better form each week, then you know you're on the right track. Finally, you need a lot of patience since losing weight the right way takes way longer than the quick fix plans that you've tried in the past. But the good news is you'll actually keep the weight off this time because the more muscle you have, the stronger your metabolism is. The stronger your metabolism is, the more you can eat. And if you can maintain a healthy weight while eating more of what you want, that's a great way to never be forced into a strict diet again. So while your scale might not move much at first, you're definitely slowing down to speed up your results long term. And slowing down to speed up is also part of the second metabolism boosting hack. As I previously mentioned, metabolism building muscle doesn't come from hitting the gym as hard as you can day in and day out, especially since that's one of the quickest routes to injury and burnout, which puts you right back at square one. Hitting the gym hard every day is like driving your car until the gas light comes on. But instead of refueling before it's too late, you end up on the side of the road with cars buzzing by while waiting for AAA with tears streaming down your face. And those tears flow hard because you know the mockery that is coming your way. You can already guess the dad jokes that your husband is going to tell on repeat. Oh, I guess your car was on a diet too. Honey, I know I told you to save money, but that's not what I meant. And what? No gas? Looks like we're getting our steps in today. Just like you can't drive your car into the ground with zero fuel, you can't expect to build muscle without enough time to rest and recover. Especially since recovery time is when muscle grows. Because whenever you lift heavy, that creates micro tears in your muscle, which take 24 to 48 hours to heal, which is when you gain muscle and strength. Without proper recovery, you're literally just tearing your body apart. But rest and recovery doesn't stop there, because not getting enough restful sleep also slows down your metabolism, which means you need to put high quality sleep as a top priority. Because poor sleep leads to weight gain while also making it harder to lose weight, since it disrupts hunger and energy hormones. You want to know what else does a whole lot of damage to hunger and energy hormones? Not following the third metabolism boosting hack. Let's go back to the early 90s for a moment. If you're a 40-something-year-old like me, then you definitely remember this hairstyle. I remember it because I spent every morning of 1991 through 1993 trying to perfect it. Didn't matter how many times my uncle asked me which wall I ran into. One day, my preteen friend held a ruler up to my bangs, exclaiming them not high enough. This incident made it my junior high mission to perfect the cheese. But I also didn't have a lot of money growing up, and I shared a bathroom with two teenage brothers who were also into stiff hair, which meant we were always running low on the one thing I needed to maintain my style. To get those bangs high, I had to learn the right amount of hairspray to use, because spraying too much led to stiff bangs that looked like my neighbor's hedges. Plus, I'd run out before I could afford to stock up. But not having enough resulted in flat hair by lunch. The same thing goes for the third metabolism booster, which is eating more on your diet, but not too much, since you'll end up with this, or in this case, this. Sustainable weight loss truly comes down to finding the calorie deficit that's sustainable for you. If you cut too many calories too soon, your metabolism will tank. And who can stick to a low-calorie plan where you have to keep cutting calories to keep getting results? But if you track for a week to figure out how many calories it takes just to maintain your weight, and then you try to eat 300 to 500 less each day, sure, you'll lose weight at a slower pace than you have on previous quick fix plans, but you wouldn't be watching this video if any of those other plans actually worked. So while yes, you do need to eat less in order to lose weight, you also need to eat more while eating less if you want a sustainable plan that continues to work. Take my 50-pound weight loss as an example. When I first started at 5'7", 195 pounds, I thought I had to eat 1,300 calories with daily strenuous cardio to get the weight off. Months into getting nowhere on that plan, I decided to test out a slow and steady approach pretty much for the first time ever. I started fresh by eating 2,000 calories a day while swapping daily cardio for strength training a few days each week. I also worked up to 10,000 steps a day. While the scale didn't drop quickly by any means, these progress photos tell a much different story. So I continue to be patient, and here I am more than 2 years later. I've easily maintained my goal weight for over a year. I only work out 2 to 3 days each week with zero strenuous cardio, and I eat somewhere around 2,400 to 2,500 calories a day to maintain a much lower weight. And even though I gave up strenuous cardio for good, that doesn't mean I just sit around all day staring at all of this muscle that I've built. Because you wouldn't see any of this muscle if I didn't also adhere to the fourth metabolism booster. Skipping this major boost is like adding all of the ingredients for your favorite protein shake into a blender but never blending it. I guess you could eventually get this down and maybe your stomach acid could take care of the rest, but it's so much easier to get all of those nutrients when everything's blended together into a delicious drink. The same thing goes for incorporating more movement into your day, because more movement blends all of the elements of your fitness efforts, making them more effective for fat loss. While everything we've talked about so far is great for boosting metabolism, look at how much more an active person can eat while losing weight compared to someone who's completely sedentary. And since studies show that 90% of people who maintain their weight loss are active for at least an hour each day, I'd say a move more, eat more approach to fat loss is really the best way to go. Because not only does more daily movement mean you get to eat more while on a diet, which not only helps you adhere to your diet while building more muscle, but moderate movement also works great as an appetite suppressant, making it easier to get into that moderate calorie deficit that works best for weight loss. If you're too busy to find an hour to move, the good news is breaking daily movement into smaller chunks works just as well. When you form habits like walking to the further bathroom, parking at the back of the lot, and walking for 10 or 15 minutes after meals, you can hit your daily movement goal with hardly any effort. And if making small changes still doesn't add up to your daily step goal, consider consider a desk treadmill. I added this combo to my office this past winter and it has been life-changing. Whether I spend an hour walking while getting work done, or I just find time to catch up on my favorite TV shows, I always find time to get movement in while checking other tasks off my list. While all of these other metabolism boosters require at least some effort, with this last hack, you can boost your metabolism up to 30% without any extra work. The crazy thing is, so many women have fallen down the latest fad diet rabbit hole that they're not taking advantage of this simple way to kick up your metabolism. Now, if that's you, don't feel bad, because I too fell down the latest fad diet rabbit hole too many times to count. And all those rabbit holes lead to is a temporary loss on the scale, followed by a not so temporary gain here once you come out the other side. Like that time I followed a high-fat diet for more than half a decade. Sure, my before and afters are amazing, but what about all of the in-betweens? Because even though I dropped more than 100 pounds from start to finish, there was a whole lot of struggle in between, which meant I was constantly trying to figure out what else to cut from my diet in order to take off the 10 or 20 pounds that I put on since the last time I reached my goal. What I didn't understand while following a diet made up of 75% fat is that fat has the lowest thermic effect of food. The reason thermic effect of food is even important is it can provide an automatic metabolic boost every time you eat, because it's the amount of energy your body uses to digest, absorb, and metabolize food. Let's say my calories back then were similar to the diet that I follow for weight loss now, which is around 2,000 calories per day. With the standard thermic effect of various macros and a diet that's made up of 75% fat, 10% carbs, and 15% protein, even if we took the high end of the ranges, the maximum thermic boost I get is somewhere around 155 calories a day. But when we look at my typical fat loss diet now, which is made up of 40% protein, 30% carbs, and 30% fat, that gives me an automatic thermic boost of 378 calories burned per day. Just by shifting to a diet that's higher in protein, even if I do nothing else, that adds up to close to 2 pounds lost every month, which is 24 pounds in a year, just from eating more protein. But the value of a high protein diet doesn't end there, because more protein is also required to build and maintain lean muscle. It helps with better rest and recovery. Eating more protein keeps you fuller longer, which makes getting into a moderate calorie deficit even easier. And just like more movement helps you maintain weight loss, the same thing holds true with a diet that's higher in protein. But even as valuable as protein is, it won't help you if you're making any of the common protein mistakes that lead to weight gain. Wait, how could that be after I just spent the entire video pumping up protein? But it is. And you can learn these very common mistakes that some diet gurus even tell you to make in this video.